Hey everyone, before we get started learning more about Brown University, we wanted to let you know that you can calculate your chances of admission at Brown and other schools with your free CollegeVine account. Start by completing your chancing profile with information such as your GPA, test scores, and extracurricular activities. From there, you can use CollegeVine's Hub tool to see your chances and information about the school, such as cost, majors, and more. Visit the link in the description below to sign up and see your chances today.
The clubs and activities. There are over 500 recognized student organizations at Brown. These include departmental undergraduate groups, or DUGs. This is like the history department has its own DUG, and it's like a club for history students to like do things and build community and try to get other people to major in history, because there's a perception out there that if you major in history, you'll never have a job. And so we would spend our time trying to convince people otherwise. It also has like fun things like movies and stuff at the department. So those are like a big presence. Also, the philosophy department does like philosophical lunches, that kind of thing. There are political organizations, as you'll probably imagine. So like College Dems, Turning Point, Brown Republicans, or also just more niche political topics. There are interest groups, which again, like ModUN, or just if you have like an interest in like a thing and want to do that with other people, I was gonna say playing video games, but actually the video games club or esports club would very much prefer that I move that to sports, so I'll do that in a second. There's art and theater. Art and theater is like what you would just imagine. So like students who play instruments, theater. Not only is there like a theater like major you can do, or concentration, but there's, for example, Brown Shakespeare on the Green, which is like a bunch of Brown students get together and like write a version of a Shakespeare play within 24 hours and like practice it, and then perform it like at the end of those 24 hours on the main green, which is a big deal. There are sports, so some sports aren't like varsity or like don't have like school coaches. So I believe fencing was just moved to this list. So you get like, you can do like a sport with other students and get like some school funding, but not necessarily have like a coach or like be an official athlete. And again, like esports is another example of this. Service work, which again, like Hope, working in the community, affinity groups, Brown Black Students Association, Brown Muslim Students Association. Actually, that's a religious group. Basically, just like any kind of like demographic-based identity group, Latinx, for example, and religious organizations. So, Brown Muslim Student Union, which focuses on like religious topics, but also just like other like aspects related to life, or like the Hillel, for example, is similar. And also there's like a Catholic Students Association, things like that. So kind of keep building like religious communities within Brown for students interested in that, as well as other extracurriculars. So basically, there are communities to fit every interest or niche, including those that you may not yet realize fit you, or may not yet realize that you want to be a part of. So there's an activities fair at the start of every semester where you can go and peruse all of the things, and people will try to get you to join their club. It's really nice. And I'd recommend, of course, going to that, and like it's really important actually, because you'll probably determine then what group of people you'll be with through the rest of college. And Brown has a website called BearSync, where you can browse all registered student organizations. BearSync is being moved to another system now, but it's still open, and the new one hasn't launched yet. So I'm just recommending that one for now. It's open to the public, so you can go and you can just look through a list of every student organization, for most of them, you can also read things like their constitution and stuff if you just have a lot of time on your hands during these times. So definitely check out Bearsync to kind of see if anything sticks out to you, or if like there's something that you may want that you don't think would be one of the 500 registered student organizations. Check Bearsync and it will probably be there. So just some other opportunities. Study abroad is big. About 35% of students, Brown students, study abroad, which is high among the Ivy League. That's probably an old number, but fits my own, that is an old number from like the 2010s, but fits my own personal experience of like people I know. So just to give you an idea, like about a third. They haven't really released a more recent number. Most students study abroad in their junior year, so either spring or fall, whichever works for you. And you can find a list of partner institutions on Brown's website. So these are the official partnerships that Brown has. And you see like Argentina, Brazil, Chile, Cuba. Your opportunities are not listed by this or limited by this, but you can probably go to just about any other country. Like I know someone who went to Uzbekistan, or South Africa, but if you go outside this list, you'll probably have more bureaucracy to deal with. Like you'll have to get something that's not pre-approved and then find it and then get it approved by the university, which is a headache, but you should most likely by your junior year be able to go to about any country that you set your heart on. So yeah, like I said, other options available. You will need like some language requirements, which seems kind of obvious. I don't know if you would really want to spend a year at an academic institution not knowing the language of like the courses are in, or just the city around you. But if that does seem appealing to you, unfortunately, you can't do it with like a couple exceptions. So some engineering programs. For the most part, though, you will need a minimum proficiency in the region that you're choosing. Each program has its own requirements. So, for example, to study abroad in China, you need basically at least 3 years of Chinese. To go to Germany, you need about 3 semesters, so about half the time. But all these requirements can be met with a language that you started learning in college. So like, if you want to study abroad in France, you can like pause on the Duolingo, or although you should probably keep doing it, but like it won't be necessary for you to study abroad or anything like that. You will be able to get those resources, even if you didn't have them in high school. You will be able to get them at Brown. Just make sure that you start early. Don't start like Chinese your senior spring or sophomore spring and then like asked to study abroad. They just won't let you. So start early. Kind of have in mind what your interests are, and you should be able to go just about anywhere. Other vocational programs. So like I mentioned earlier, there are programs that you can do that will give you a course credit that are vocational. They are designed to give you life experience that you can use on a job. So one example of this is the Choices program. The Choices program is an institution that Brown runs, where you write high school level history curriculum for actual like distribution to actual high schools with Brown professors. So actually a ton of schools across the country use like Brown's Choices program stuff to kind of supplement official state guidelines, where like individual teachers or even school districts may find that those are limited, and you can actually write them. Like you can write stuff that actual like students will read, which is really cool, and get a credit for it, and work with like professors and stuff. Brown in Washington, allows you to take classes and intern for a nonprofit while working in DC. You get like a total combination of classes and internships for up to 4 credits. And basically there's just plenty more programs that should meet your interest. Another important thing is link awards. So like I mentioned earlier, Brown is committed to need-blind admission up to 100% of demonstrated need, and Brown will actually pay you for a summer if your internship is unpaid. Meaning, like, if you get an unpaid internship and it's like really prestigious, let's say with Facebook, but it's like, how am I going to survive in San Francisco for 3 months with no revenue stream? Brown will actually provide that revenue stream for you, which is really nice, especially when you're just starting out and don't yet have the experience to land a good paid internship. Utras are another program. Basically, you can be paid to do research with a professor, which is really cool. It depends on the field. So STEM fields are more likely to just need people with undergraduate level skills doing kind of more busy work for the professors who kind of direct the research. It is harder to get them in some like social science fields. Like you're probably not going to be able to get like a Nutra with a classics professor unless you have a lot of like ancient Greek experience or something like that. So it does kind of depend, but it is something that's like generally available for you. And a great opportunity in general, especially if you're looking to do that kind of work later on.